love and having sex, the experts say, are two different things. So really, what is the difference? Are there things that come to play when two people that are in love are making love? Today on the maiden edition of Moans and Cuddles, my guest and I will explore this topic in detail. My name is Akosia Konedu Owusu. I am your host. We'll be right back. So welcome back to Moans and Cuddles. Let me introduce my guest to you. So to my immediate left, I have Daniel Odro. They call him Sexy Danny. Daniel is the head of sports at Ghana Web. And next to Daniel, I have Nanaya. She's a consultant. And then next to Nanaya, I have my favorite person in the world, David Kwekusichi.
Hi. I'm not sure why she refers to me as her favorite person in the world.
But you know, no, okay, you are my favorite male. You are my favorite female.
Nah. And I'm what?
You are my sweetheart. So guys, today we are looking at the process of making love. What really is the difference between making love and having sex?
All right, let me take it. So you've had great cake, right? Wedding cake, birthday cake, and all that you really like, right? The way I look at it, making love and having sex is like cake with icing, okay? Now, nobody eats icing by itself, unless, of course, you got an issue, but we eat cake. Now, when there's icing on the cake, it's extra exciting. It adds something, a zing to the experience, okay? Now, lovemaking is a much longer, detailed process. Sex is a culmination of lovemaking, right? Now, you can make love and not necessarily have sex, but you can conclude the lovemaking process with sex. Okay, so lovemaking starts with something as mundane as flirtation, because the process of lovemaking is it heats up, it warms up. Okay, so I read a book once that said sex begins in the kitchen, right? Now, it wasn't what I thought it was. What the guy said is basically what I'm sharing now, okay, about the lovemaking being the long process. What he said basically was that in the morning, when your wife or both of you, your spouse or both of you, are preparing breakfast, that's when the entire process actually starts. Not because you're going to make love in the kitchen, right? But because you're going to be tender towards each other, setting the stage for a later event in the day without even saying so. So in the morning, you say, hey, give her a hug, give him a hug, say, you're looking interesting this morning, and it's like, I'm giving you eyes, but I've not said anything. So you're setting the stage. Then you leave the house. You both go to work. As you're going to work, you give each other a peck, you go off to work. During the day, find a moment, you WhatsApp, text, whatever, say, hey, how you doing? I'm thinking about you. That's the process of making love to your significant other. Now, what happens is that when you meet at the end of the day, when now the two of you can be alone, after being busy with everybody else during the day, the stage has been set. You're not actually, you don't have to say anything, because at that point, both of you, your minds and your bodies are ready.
So then setting the right mood is important for...
That's, setting the right mood is the beginning of lovemaking. Okay. So, foreplay is the next stage of lovemaking.
We'll come back to foreplay, but Nana, you are a woman. How do you set the right mood for the lovemaking process to begin?
Okay. Continuing from what David said, I believe strongly that lovemaking comes from very little things. The conversations, the body language, even something as mundane as sending a card to her at work.
Card?
Yes. How are you doing?
Like
a card, yes, greeting card, normal greeting card. How are you doing? You're easing her mind as a woman. Sex is great. There's spontaneous sex, which is great, but it's not lovemaking. There can be some sex that is greater than even lovemaking. Yes, it's short, spontaneous, but memorable. Lovemaking is the process where your whole body, your whole mind is into it. Your whole being. So from the hairs on your head to the sole of your feet is into the whole thing. Yes. So like he said, from the morning, oh, you look sexy, what are you wearing today? Maybe the woman cooks every time, but in the afternoon he texts and says, I want to make dinner tonight. Yes, it's something to get her from 0 to 100. So then you don't even need to say that, oh, when we get home, you're going to get it. But you would end up getting it, and it will be great.
Danny, I hear that there are some sex that actually is greater, more, than the love making itself. I heard that men are always in a hurry when it comes to sex. Do you guys have time to prepare our minds towards what is coming in the evening? But by the way, should love making always be like in a particular time of the day?
No. I don't believe so. I mean, I think it can happen anytime. I think women like the spontaneity of sex, and I mean, this is just my opinion. I'm not an expert. I think Kweku has been more philosophical about the conversation. So I mean, I'm just speaking as a young man who's trying to find his feet in this. But I love spontaneity. I mean, and I would expect that my partner would love that as well. Nobody wants to be predictable, especially when it comes to sex. So I think the surprise element also spices things up. And like she's saying, I mean, if a woman does something regularly, say she's cooking every time, and one time you say you are cooking, I mean, it's a surprise. She said, oh, what's happening? Okay, wait a minute. And it's the same with sex. If okay, we have a routine, it's every time in the evening. And one day, I tell you that I'm coming home for lunch. When I don't regularly do that, it's out of character. And in the morning, like Kweku had said earlier, I had set the tone. You can figure it out that, okay, this guy has been all over me, he's texting me, he's calling me almost every hour. Maybe he wants that. So this is a deviation from our regular routine where we're doing it every night. So I believe that it doesn't have to be cast in stone that you're doing it every night. I mean, I think it becomes, and nobody likes routine. Even at work, when you do something over and over again, you become bored, you want something different. And so your sex should be different and varied, and even the places that you have it. It could be in the kitchen, it could be in the bedroom, it could be in the car for adventure's sake.
I was going to ask, so which places, say in the house or outside the house? Because if you're talking about spontaneity, then we don't have to necessarily take it to the bedroom. So then the kitchen.
Yes.
Where we cook, no?
The kitchen.
Where we are cooking, no?
Yes. Or someone annoys you, but that person visits you a lot. And the person has a favorite spot in your living room that they sit. Do it there. Oh, yeah.
Have you ever had sex where whilst you were hotly engaged?
You have a knock on the door?
No. You actually place a call. Both of you are aware. You place a call to a favorite friend of the two of you, okay, and you're hotly engaged.
But
in the-
why would you
Try
do
it.
that?
Try it.
Excitement.
Try it. It's the excitement of it. It's like, can we?
Or the
How
call comes
how
through
how
and
long
you pick
can
up.
we keep it hidden? And how long can we keep the person on the line without the person knowing what we are doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Try that. You can try it.
Yeah.
I'm missing so much.
No, you're boring. That's the problem. You're boring. Yeah, you're boring.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, David, I'm getting some flashbacks actually. So this one time, I had this
Flashbacks are very important.
this
too.
common friend of ours, and we're all in the room, and he falls asleep, and I'm with my now ex-girlfriend. So we're in the living room. We're not going into the bedroom and doing anything. So while my friend was in the couch, we're watching a football game, and he sleeps off. We're having sex, and we're hoping that this our friend.
Very.
So that he doesn't wake up.
Of course.
Before you finish. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
See, excitement has.
It's
Oh,
edgy, right? It's like you don't want to be caught, but
you are hoping
you know
to be
you
caught
may be
something.
caught, and it's like if you're caught, the consequences are not dire if you're
Yeah.
caught. But you know,
Are people doing these things? Because I'm thinking that if people are really being
they are
this
not, they should start.
adventurous, then all the complaints about people
but then
doing it with
again,
other people
but then you
outside
see
their
again, what
homes.
happens is that a lot of people are not necessarily compatible in that sense. In other words, I like edgy, she doesn't like edgy.
Yes.
She likes edgy, I don't like edgy.
Yes. So
those
actually,
things.
that brings me to my next question. Like, so what if your partner is not one adventurous, or doesn't like certain things to be done to them, or doesn't like to do certain things to you? So at what point do you draw the balance? How do you rope them in? What else can you do? So for instance, if you like to kiss, she doesn't like to kiss. You like to go down on her, she doesn't like to go down. She doesn't like you to go down on her. I mean, to lick them. What other things can you do to also help them enjoy the process?
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot to be said for the art of persuasion. But beyond a certain point, you can't persuade people. Okay, so there's the art of persuasion, and then there's the mastery of acceptance, where you just have to accept that this is what I have, this is what it is. How do I make this incredible? So there's if you master the key of acceptance, right, what happens is that it allows you the freedom to now say, let me get creative. What can I do with what I have? Because this is what I have. Okay. If you're always hoping for something better, you won't do anything with what you have. If you're always hoping for the person to change, you will do nothing. But if you accept that, you know what, maybe one day it will change. As it is right now, it's not changing. Let's get creative. Now, it starts by communication. So you have to talk to each other. Whilst talking, your aim is to try and figure out what are the triggers of excitement. What are the triggers of excitement? What is it that stimulates her? You know, what is it that will make her let go and go crazy? Right? Now, my sense in a few years of experience is that people have inhibitions because they also have innate fears of inadequacy, fears of disappointing, not being good enough, not liking certain body parts, all those things.
But I disagree with you because I'm thinking.
On which aspect?
Well, I'm getting to that. I'm thinking that before we start having sex, we may have had a lot of conversations.
Not always.
So this is where I have a problem. I think we don't communicate enough.
Or we pretend to.
Yes.
You know, people actually pretend so much these days that if they want you that bad, they would pretend as if they like certain things. And then when the relationship has now built to a certain level, because if you don't like something, you cannot hide it for long.
True.
So I think that people actually hide feelings because they don't want to lose the person.
What about if we look at it this way, that they are hiding it not because it's malicious, but it's because they are hoping that they can work their way to meeting you halfway. It's like, I know you like this. Clearly you like this. I don't want to disappoint you. So as much as I really don't like this, why don't I try and accommodate? And then let me see if I can help myself to get to the point where I'm enjoying what you're enjoying. So usually you can stay in that phase for a few months. Then at a point you're like, you know what? This actually is not working. You know, and then sometimes in the relationship there are triggers that make you say that, you know something? I gotta be real. This is not working.
No.
And at that point,
Hold
people
on.
say,
Hold on.
why were you pretending all this while?
Hold on to your thoughts. Do not forget that this is Moans and Cuddles, and we are talking about the love-making process. What do you do to set the right mood? What do you do when your partner doesn't like A, B, or C? How do you cope? How do you draw the balance? My name is Akosia Konedu. We'll take a breather. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Moans and Cuddles. My name is Akosia. Before we went on the break, we were talking about people pretending to like something, and then when in the relationship decide now to show their true colors. And Nana, you were saying that people don't necessarily pretend.
No, okay. So let me come back to the lovemaking and sex. I don't want to forget this. Now, when you're lovemaking, everything sets the tone, sets the mood. I still feel lovemaking is boring because at the end of the day, last, it go end in missionary.
Not necessarily.
Oh, last, it go end in missionary.
Not necessarily.
Have sex, do doggy, frozen chicken, splitting bamboo.
What?
Yes.
Reverse
wait.
cowgirl.
Reverse cowgirl.
No,
Cowgirl.
explain those things to me. Are you saying that you cannot really sort of make love whilst doing all these weird styles that you're mentioning?
She's right.
Lovemaking is
Because lovemaking
relaxed.
lovemaking by nature, or by the very essence of what it is slower, is more patient, it's more deliberate, it's like take the word making love. You're creating.
Look, so you start with the missionary. He's on top of you in the love-making process. He turns you over.
You've switched into having sex. You are now enjoying the icing on the cake.
So the way you are laughing, so what? You agree with them?
I agree by and large. See, and a lot of people say after marriage they realize that they don't really have sex. They make love. So it is not, you are not doing more of the doggies. You are not doing the crazy stuff, carrying the woman up and all of those crazy things. A lot of the marriages, I'm not saying every marriage does that, but I mean, that's why sometimes people want excitement outside because the man sees some young girl who's driving him crazy and giving him crazy styles and positions and all of that, and the wife is not doing that because it has to be decent. The love-making process, the love-making must be decent, like a man and a wife. But when you are boyfriend, girlfriend, and you're actually having sex,
so
and
people
it's
don't
rough.
go down on people in the whole love-making process? Because I want to, okay, so can couples bring the sex, the craziness into the love-making?
Yeah, but like I said, when I was describing it, right, I said that lovemaking is the beginning of the process. Sex is the icing on the cake. And I'm not saying that they cannot happen simultaneously, right? What I'm saying is that there's lovemaking and there's having sex, and you can have all in one at one go, right? But when you're making love, it's more deliberate and tender and thoughtful and it's
When that is your only intent,
it ends up
yeah.
it ends up in a very calm. No, not necessarily. If that's your own intent,
boringness.
it won't end up with wildness. Do you get it? It will end up really nice. You both had a great orgasm, but it wasn't hot and fiery. It wasn't.
But
It wasn't
what is hot
explosive.
and fiery when we have reached orgasm?
No, well, you see, for someone like you, maybe orgasm is the ultimate, right? But for some people, the experience before the orgasm adds to the orgasm. Do you get it?
So what role does oral sex play in this whole love-making process, sex between two people who are in love and trying to make love?
Well, I mean, I would say that cunnilingus, which is the correct way to describe it, to say it, is a name for the act.
For both the woman and the male.
Fellatio is for the man. If a woman is giving to the man, it's fellatio. And then for the man giving to the woman, it's cunnilingus.
It's the same thing though.
Well,
It's the same oral sex.
It's both oral sex, but different techniques, but yes. So I think that it's an important part of the lovemaking process. Once you get into the foreplay space, it's a very important part. I do understand and appreciate that not every woman is the same and has the same level of sensitivity as far as their erogenous zones are concerned, right? So you also have to discover, what works. Some women prefer fingers, some women prefer the tongue. The finger is less sensitive and a little more abrasive than the tongue. The tongue, by virtue of being the tongue, has greater sensitivity, and in terms of pressure, can regulate pressure a bit better, and so if for those who are very adept at cunnilingus, you can pretty much bring out different expressions from a woman who is sensitive to her clitoris being stimulated. Now again, depending on the size of the clitoris, depending on how hooded it is, and both of you, where it is that you are in the entire experience, you can have so many different grades of enjoyment from that. But I think that oral sex is a critical part of lovemaking, even though I have discovered in more recent years that it's not the only way to create great excitement in sex.
Okay.
Okay.
Share with us.
But
Now I'm curious.
well, you see, the thing is that there's vaginal stimulation and there's clitoral stimulation, right? Now, for the majority of men, vaginal stimulation is not necessarily the way they would want to go. And I should say men in a certain category, right? I don't think that men who are sort of less polished have a problem in that area. I think the more polished guys tend to have a problem in that area because they are more refined, they want to do the love-making thing. And so when it comes to vaginal stimulation, usually once they go in, it doesn't take long for them to be triggered and then they're done. So that's when you have the terms like the 1 minute man and those kinds of things, right? The guys who are more brutish, more, Charlie, I gotta have it how I wanna have it. Those kind of guys, they tend to be more experienced in handling their excitement levels. which means that you can go in and do a lot of stimulation in the vagina, okay, and arouse her big time, stimulating her in the vagina without you yourself being necessarily too aroused, which is critical to when you're going to have your ejaculation. You see, now, if you want her to be super aroused without you becoming aroused, there are all kinds of mental techniques involved. This show is too short for us to get into all of that. Okay.
We'll get there.
So once you are able, the key thing for a lot of guys, and as you get older, you tend to realize that the more skills you come to the table with, the better the experience for both of you is going to be. And you're not relying on the woman's expertise. You're building your own set of skills. You see, because the more you have in your toolbox, the better lover you will be at the end of the day.
So, Danny, from what Kwekwe is saying, what will be the best way to get your woman to that level in your own understanding?
Look, every woman is different, and that is important. You need to know your woman and know how to get her to that point. Some women will like you to go down on them, and for them, that's when they reach there. A friend of mine would say, I want to reach Orlando. So every woman is different. I mean, and you need to know your woman. Once you know that, and this involves a lot of communication and exploring and talking, and being open with each other. Once you do that, and the woman must participate. It has to be two-way. If it is one way, it's going to be a very long, tedious process. You're both going to finish making the love or having the sex, and one person is going to leave unsatisfied, and you don't want that. So a lot of communication and knowing your partner, because I mean, it's not a one-size-fits-all. Get to know your woman, build your skill set, like Kwekwe is saying, and master it. The body is
There to be explored.
Exactly, and you can do so many things with the woman as long as you're communicating and there are no barriers involved. And I don't think there should be barriers when you say this is your significant other and I want to share my most intimate time and moments with that person. Why hold back? You understand? So know your woman and explore.
Nana, when you are busy, the two of you are busy people. How do you find time and balance to have the best sex?
Personally, I think it's the little things. We are both busy people. I'm back home from work, you're back home from work. Unzip my dress without me asking. Oh, you're tired, let me rub your feet. Very, very little things. Not necessarily bringing a bunch of roses or anything. Or maybe I'm at work, delivery guy comes. Oh, I brought you lunch. Something. You're busy, but find the time. Do little gestures. So let me bring you a glass of water by your bedside when you know I get thirsty at night. Something. Or I wake up if in an event where there are kids involved. Wake up before me one time. Get the kids ready for school. Oh, we go chop fala.
Now I know.
Something that I want to find out. I was listening to a program, and the woman said one of the reasons why people are not having good enough sex or making good enough love is because people don't take their hygiene seriously. So if you like going down on someone, and I think there are people that have had this experience where they went down on a woman who wasn't smelling so great or a guy who wasn't smelling so great, so they put this thing in their heads. So if you have a partner like that who probably has had such an experience, how do you change their minds about some of these things?
Bath with them.
Okay.
Bath with them. Let them know you're cleaning up. Like, wear nice perfume. But if it is your partner you feel isn't hygienic enough for you, take a shower with them. Wear nice perfumes. There are some lubricants that actually smell good, that actually help you get the job done.
Okay.
Use ice cream, melt chocolate, do something. Don't be stale.
Melt chocolate on your body.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Put ice cream.
So this issue of interestingly, I don't really like food
On your body.
on my body. I don't mind eating food of somebody else if you want it. But I don't like food on my body. It makes me feel sticky. It makes me feel yucky. I don't like it. You know. So, but I won't deny you of it. If you want me to lick ice cream off your nipples, I'll do it. Yeah, if you like it, I'll
Danny,
do it.
will you lick ice cream off?
I don't mind. I mean, see, the act of going down on a woman is difficult for a lot of men. I've heard somebody say it's labor of love. You need to be incredibly into this person to be able to go down on them. I mean, and like you say, if you had a bad experience in the past, it could damage you for a very long time. But if you know your partner, you know if they are clean or not. If a person takes off their underwear, you could tell if they are clean or if they smell clean. So, I mean, I don't mind, but I can understand why some people are, if you like, are not too daring to go into. And there are a lot of women who also don't want people to go down on them for all sorts of reasons, you know. So I don't mind.
I've heard reasons like they are sucking away your destiny.
The spiritual aspect of it.
They're sucking away your destiny. I'm like,
How are you sucking away?
I'm like, seriously, you
What
shouldn't have much of, you can't have much of a destiny if that's the way you're doing it.
What I recently heard was that the mouth is for eating and praying.
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, the vagina actually almost always is the cleanest part of a woman's body.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It's self-clean, it's cleaner than the mouth.
so what are you saying?
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
You have to brush your teeth. You don't have to brush inside the vagina, but it's clean. It's self-cleaning.
So all these things are part of the things that spice up the lovemaking process. What if you have a partner who doesn't like any of these things and is so stubborn about it?
Oh, you go hard.
Why is the person your partner?
Yeah.
That's my question. Why are you with them?
Okay, so
Listen.
they're great in other ways,
things.
but they are
But just that.
they are
the
the
best
no
partners
no
in
sex.
all other
They are
things.
Wait.
the no sex people.
Wait, hold.
No sex.
Okay,
no
Cunnilingus. Okay, so they don't like the softer making love things.
Yes.
They don't like any of those
making love
things.
things. They don't like for instance, they don't like the oral sexy things. They don't like the kissing things. They don't like the going down on them things.
Foreplay.
They like
At all.
foreplay.
You don't like foreplay at all?
Yes.
Buga buga bu pam pam pam.
So that's what I'm saying. Does it have to be buga buga pam pam?
We have to go
What
back.
else do we have to do?
I have to go back to school. Got to learn the whole thing again. It's difficult because the majority of women need the experience of foreplay. Not every time, but a lot of times. Okay. So I think it's also, and I think that you see, even for a man, it teaches you the process of patient care for your significant other, right? Being more deliberate, taking your time, paying attention to what how is she responding? You know, it teaches you those things as well. So I don't see why you're rushing. You know, are you guys ending the relationship? Is it the last sex you're having? Are you ending the relationship tomorrow morning? Is that why you're rushing? I mean, seriously.
No, but if
Take
you're
your
ending
time.
tomorrow, it
You-
should be great.
Then you should take your time. Even that one, you should take your time, right?
be memorable.
Yeah. So So I think that it's a tough one. I mean, I really don't know what I would say to somebody who is like, I won't try. I'm not interested. I don't care. I won't try. I honestly, my thing is, what are you doing with that person?
Okay. Danny, would you just let go?
You know, they say sometimes your ideal woman lies in a different kind of body. So it can be a tricky one, but there are some things that are non-negotiable, and you need to admit to yourself that I can't live the rest of my life with this. You can talk it through to see if you can arrive at a compromise, which is the most natural human thing to do. But if you feel that your partner is stuck up and they are unwilling to change, you need to be honest with yourself and ask yourself if you can deal with this long term, because you don't want to end up cheating or hurting their feelings along the way. Because if I'm wild and I want a wild girl and you're not giving me that, and I've been patient and I wait and it's not coming, I'm going to look elsewhere for it. I mean, no doubt about that. So as much as possible, find a middle ground. But if you can't, and you have to be honest about this, you have to let go. There are lots of fishes in the sea.
Would you let go?
I don't want. I won't do. I won't learn. It won't happen. Okay. Goodbye.
And on that note, we'll end the conversation for now. I think we'll have to come back and continue this topic. You have been watching Moans and Cuddles with me and my guest. Our topic was the lovemaking process. I'm very, very sure that you've learned so much from our conversation today. I did this with Daniel Lodro. Daniel is the head of sports. Nanaya, who is a consultant for all manner of things. And David Kwekusechi, who is my spiritual friend, former best friend.
Yeah. Different.
Yeah, so yeah. Thank you for watching. We'll come your way another time on Moans and Cuddles.